Senator Chuck Schumer says he's not going anywhere as Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative AOC host far-left rallies around the country. President Trump announces the sixth-generation fighter jet, the F-47, as his administration orders Iran to shut down its nuclear program or else. I'm Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Monday, March 24th, 2025. Rub the sleep out of your eyes. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer remarked that he wouldn't be going anywhere yesterday on the Sunday interview NBC News Meet the Press with host Kristen Welker, bucking calls from members of his own party to step down after he voted to support the Republican continuing resolution to keep the government open.
All right. Well, I do want to move to some of the discussions on Capitol Hill. Because of your decision, Leader Schumer, last week to clear the way to pass a Republican funding bill and avoid a government shutdown, you have faced calls from outside groups, even members of your own party, to step aside as minority leader. When asked about your future to town hall, Senator Michael Bennet said, quote, "It's important for people to know when it's time to go." Leader Schumer, are you feeling pressure to step down?
Look, I'm not stepping down. And let me just say this, Kristen. I knew when I cast my vote against against the government shutdown that there'd be a lot of controversy, and there was. But let me tell you and your audience why I did it, why I felt it was so important. The CR was certainly bad. You know, the continuing resolution, but a shutdown would be 15 or 20 times worse. Our plan, which we're united on, is to make Donald Trump the quickest lame duck in modern history by showing how bad his policies are. He represents the oligarchs, as I said. He's hurting average people in every way. And we are, through oversight hearings, we're exposing what he's doing. Through the courts, which I mentioned, we've had some real success in. Through legislation and through organizing in all the districts throughout the country. So that I believe that because the Republicans are already nervous, you know, a lot of them said don't hold town hall meetings. I believe by 2026, the Republicans in the House and Senate will feel like they're rats on a sinking ship because we have so gone after Trump and all the horrible things he's doing, and they will know it, see it, hate it, and act on it.
That's not the only Sunday news show on tap. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who's been going around the country with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York on these fight the oligarchy style rallies, appeared on ABC News this week with Jonathan Karl. Sanders talked a little bit about what he suggested these fight the oligarchy rallies were all about.
Well, I hear you telling people out there, fight back. What do you mean, though? How do they fight back?
Well, it's the question. We're working on it right now. But I think, first of all, coming here and showing the world that Americans are not going to sit back and take what Trump is doing is a good step forward. But obviously, what we need to do is what neither political party is capable of doing right now. And that is develop a strong grassroots movement prepared to run candidates, prepared to stand up and question candidates, demand responsibility from their elected officials to stand with working families and not just the 1%.
I've been covering you for a long, long time. I've heard you railing against millionaires and billionaires for a long time.
Hey, guess what?
Is it different?
Turns out a few other people are catching on to that, right? Yeah. I have been talking for many years about this country moving toward an oligarchy.
Sanders also praised President Trump's illegal immigration and fentanyl crackdowns.
Is there anything that you think Trump has done right?
Yeah, I mean, I think cracking down on fentanyl, making sure our borders are stronger. Look, nobody thinks illegal immigration is appropriate.
When Karl asked Sanders about Sanders' co-rally lead AOC possibly becoming a member of the Senate and effectively replacing Chuck Schumer, things got a little bit tense.
Back when I first came to the Congress and the House, I helped form the Progressive Caucus. We had 5 people in it at that time. Now they got close to 100. So you got a whole lot of good people. Alexandria is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress and she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her join in the Senate?
Right now we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
No, I asked you.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine, but I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you. I mean, that's all. I was literally your last.
What is your question?
Well, I mean, it's easier to. I mean, I want to ask you about your future. This is the biggest crowd. You said you ran for president twice. This is the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Are we going to see you run again, or what's your future?
No, right now, I am very proud that the people of the state of Vermont sent me back to the Senate with 63% of the vote. Right now, I'm Vermont senator. That's what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years of age, and I'm tired.
Jonathan Karl did not ask Senator Bernie Sanders about the vandalism and domestic terror incidents surrounding Teslas from far-left activists around the country, angry at Tesla's owner Elon Musk over the Department of Government Efficiency. While pundits, politicians, and late-night talk show hosts on the left have insisted the firebombing of Teslas, dealerships, charging stations, and the doxing of Tesla owners is simply boycotting, the accepted definition for terrorism is still the use of targeted, systemic violence to intimidate and/or coerce to produce political change. In direct contrast, many Americans did participate in an objectively defined boycott over the weekend by not going to see Disney's live-action Snow White film in theaters, which only raked in $43 million in total. It was expected to make at least $45 to $48 million, a lower-than-average estimate according to industry experts. Both its controversial cast and the rewriting of the 1937 classic animated story drew heavy criticism from Americans, leading to a script rewrite and then a delayed release, though it doesn't appear to have helped. In case you're curious, when adjusted for inflation, Disney's re-release of its 1937 Snow White broke $93 million in its first weekend in 1993. President Trump made shockwaves, no pun intended, over the weekend when he announced the United States' sixth-generation fighter jet, the F-47.
The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them. And it's not even close. This is a next level. You know, level 5 is good. This is level 6, they say. The F-47 is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth technology. It's virtually unseeable and unprecedented power. It's got the most power of any jet of its kind ever made.
The F-47, a stealth fighter from the NGAD program, is to be produced by Boeing instead of Lockheed Martin, and is expected to have a top flight speed between Mach 2 and 2.5 with its two engines. Comparatively, the Chinese Chengdu J-36, announced by Beijing earlier this year as its sixth-generation fighter bomber, is reportedly capable of those speeds with its three engines, though that hasn't yet been observed. I'd cut to clips comparing the two aircraft, but I'm really trying to stay away from CIA black sites this week. FBI Director Kash Patel is reportedly planning to either reassign or lay off over 1,000 agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the agency the federal government has used to enforce federal gun laws in the United States, as well as gun-running scandals to the Mexican drug cartels during the Obama administration. On CBS News' Face the Nation yesterday, White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz announced that the United States is seeking the full dismantlement of the Iranian nuclear program.
Can you clarify, is the U.S. seeking the dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program or verification like what President Obama put in place back in 2015 and President Trump pulled out of?
Full dismantlement. Okay. Iran has to give up its program in a way that the entire world can see. And this is, look, as President Trump has said, this is coming to a head. All options are on the table. And it is time for Iran to walk away completely from its desire to have a nuclear weapon. And they will not and cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapons program. That's enrichment, to the that is weaponization, and that it's strategic missile program. Can you only imagine? We've seen the death and destruction that they're doing through its proxies between Hezbollah, the Assad regime, the Houthis, and what have you. If they had nuclear weapons, the entire Middle East would explode in an arms race. That is completely unacceptable to our national security. I won't get into what the back and forth has been, but Iran is in the worst place it has been from its own national security since 1979. Thanks to Hezbollah, Hamas, the Assad regime, and its own air defenses being taken out by the Israelis.
So there's still a chance for diplomacy. I know you don't want to get into
Of course. I mean, the president has all options on the table, but we want to be clear. This isn't some kind of tit for tat that we had under the Obama administration or Biden. This is the full program. Give it up or there'll be consequences.
And that's not all. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is beginning to look at whether food stamps and welfare can be spent on unhealthy products like soft drinks, and might be considering a ban on pharmaceutical advertising on television. But you'll need to check the description below to make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast so you can join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for a closer look at those controversies. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's Top News in 10. Take care.